hang up this shit. Oh, hey, it worked. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. If you had to change your clocks, I mean, it didn't really matter for you guys. Just to kick it back one. I'm actually Arizona don't change for nobody apparently. They like to want to be Texas, just like a quarter of a size. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keyboard Warriors. My name's Eddie Law. That's Fred Kirby. Just Bacaba will be joining us soon. His ass is in California, just trying to find a spot to park. All right. So a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of shit to hit up on. Let's talk right. Let's just get right into the flyweight thing. So obviously we all know about the trade. DJ goes off to 1. We get Ben Askren, right? We'll talk about Ben Askren pretty soon, believe me. But earlier today, I think it was Flow Combat put out a tweet or whatever. They broke the news that 125 men's 125 in the UFC is actually going away. And then Jose Shorty Torres put out a video saying it's true because he had been released by the UFC. So, by the way they did it was fucked up. They were like, well, you had 2 losses and then like you got lucky with your 1 win. I'm like, bro, what do you mean lucky? And you can say lucky, but it was a W's a W. And you're kind of a dick for saying lucky, whatever. So we're working with the thought process. This is what it tells me. You tell me what you think. What this tells me is Cejudo TJ's happening. Like, it's happening. That fight's gonna go down because they're not taking everybody from 125 up to 135. They cut a bunch of dudes, or they're cutting a bunch of dudes from 125, and the champion's moving up to fight for the 135 belt. And then that flyweight division is gonna be gone. I like a lot of guys at 125, right? Like John Moraga, Sergio Pettis, guys like that come to mind. But what are you gonna do, man? This is a division that hasn't really, sparked much enough interest to keep it around. What are your thoughts on this whole thing about it going away?
I ain't as mad at it as most people probably will be. I mean, to some of the cats that are going to lose their opportunity in their job, obviously that's fucked up. I don't feel great about that, but it is what it is. I mean, look, man, all due respect to Flow Combat, that's who came out with this.
Yeah. Flow Sports, Flow Combat.
Y'all didn't break nothing. Like the moment that the UFC traded DJ, the writing was on the wall in big bold print. That division was fucked. If DJ, once they got rid of DJ was all flyweight had. And getting rid of him, we knew the flyweight was getting dissolved. And let's keep it a buck. Once that happens, of course 35 ain't taking all y'all.
Right.
I mean, man, look, life ain't fair. Welcome to that reality. Some of y'all either aren't good enough or unfairly enough, some of y'all just don't put enough asses in seats. I mean, it's fucked up, but that's the way it goes. And me, for one, as the fan and the spectator, fuck it. I'm all for it. 35 is a little more lit. 25 was a bit of a drag. Where there's some good fight, where there's some great fighters and some good fights at 25, sure there was. But I mean, real shit, how many fans do you think the sport loses because we dissolve 25? I mean, let's just keep it a buck, man. How many people are walking away? How many people are following DJ to one FC or to one fighting, whatever, the one championship, whatever the fuck it's called now, and not watching the UFC because of this? I mean, listen, I will tune into DJ's fights. I will watch him fight in one, but it ain't going to slow me down from watching the UFC and wanting to watch Ben Askren there. So it just is what it is, man. I feel bad for the guys that aren't going to have an opportunity to fight. But you know what? On the same token, I don't feel bad for them. Yo, go get your bag in China. There are other. That's why this idea that like the UFC is a monopoly is fucking goofy, man. Bellator is in our country. You got ONE FC over in fucking Asia. You got, goddamn it, what is it? The KS, whatever the fuck, out in Poland or Russia.
Yeah. There's a handful of promotions now.
There's a bunch of shit all over. There are places for these cats to go get paid at, man. And if you go there and you do good enough and you get your name up, bulk up to 35 and come back to the UFC and make another run. I'm not completely sold that we don't see DJ at 35 in the UFC at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised after he like takes over one championship.
2, 3, 4 years from now or something, when he gets a little bored and he actually is like, okay, towards the end of his career and wants to really start putting things on his legacy, I wouldn't put it past DJ to come back to the UFC at 35 in a few years.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Jesse? Jesse Regalo joining us from California.
What's up in the middle of traffic?
Are you in the middle
What's
of
going
traffic
on,
right now? Are you really? Jesse,
Apparently he was.
Oh Jesus! Hey, can you hear me?
you're cutting in and out. Are you legit in traffic right now?
Yeah, I'm legit in traffic right now.
Like not moving at all?
Yeah, basically, I'm on that California traffic.
Shit, well, you lucky weed's legal in California.
All right, well, listen, we're gonna have to do quick hit. We're gonna have to do quick hits with you since you're in the middle of traffic, cocksucker. They're dissolving 25. What do you think about that?
Finally, at least everybody gets closure.
What about the fighters that they're just saying "fuck off"? We're not even giving you the chance to come up to 35 because some cats are getting that.
Well, I mean, there must be a good reason why those guys are getting the boot, right?
That's optimistic thinking, but I kind of agree.
What's the reason behind them getting the boot, right?
Well, they're not gonna make it to 35. I mean, like, what was it? Oh, first of all, this kind of cements the fact that we're gonna get Cejudo versus TJ, right? That's pretty much happening. But
right.
But like those
125. But that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like, okay, so let's say we move up a bunch of these 25ers up to 35, right, and these guys are legit 25ers. We're just gonna see a lot of beatings.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And at least we're saving some of these guys from taking these beatings. Kind of like who was the first guy? Shorty, right? Shorty Torres.
Yeah, he's the one that started that put out the video.
So you know, and he's a really small guy. He's, you know, basically very, very, you know, on the small end of the 125ers. So I mean, for him it makes sense. At least he can go somewhere else now. And that's what I like about it. At least now everybody knows where they stand, and it's either you get your manager on the phone and you tell the UFC to make you some promises that they're not going to cut you and you're going to go to 35, or they're going to release you right now and you can go out, you know, sign with, you know, I think I heard the tail end of Fred saying, you know, there's Combate, there's, you know, RIZIN, there's just all kinds of different promotions. The PFL that's starting up a new season next year. You know, there's just so many options that at least let people know where they stand with the UFC, so at least they can go out and make a living.
And let me tell you something, Jack. I'm not saying it would be easy, but go outside. Look, the UFC completely changed their stance on women's MMA and changed the whole game because of one fighter. Let's keep it a buck. And not only that, they changed it on a fighter who built their fame outside of the UFC. So, you know, maybe Shorty Torres is the type of cat that could go out and make the UFC rebuild flyweight. Like, it's all about fucking stars, man, and entertainment and driving fucking people towards that division. Like, go outside the UFC, run rough shit on everybody, go to fucking Asia, knock out DJ in spectacular fashion, like build this aura around yourself, and then maybe the UFC will rethink that division.
I tend to agree with you, Fred, but I also don't know if that's going to happen at any point soon, just because they're willing to let the most dominant champion go without a fight. You know, they let DJ go without a fight. Now they're pretty much resigning everybody to either move up or get the hell out. So I just don't see how the UFC is going to reconsider this if they had a guy who already made his legacy, you know, who already made history in the UFC. You know, it's the money game, and like you said, Fred, it's about stars and money. And I honestly think that the last superstar that we had at flyweight was Uncle Creepy. He was one of the most well-known 125ers, and he had, you know, a pretty good fight against DJ, and, you know, he just kind of fell off, and then it just kind of seemed like the division lost steam after that.
Right. I agree. We need to wrap up on this topic, but I agree that, like, quite frankly, to keep it a buck, if Uncle Creepy had won that fight against DJ and he had been the champion at fucking flyweight, I don't know how this division goes.
Right.
Well, the other thing, I don't know if you mentioned it, Eddie, about now DJ is going to be basically the ambassador to One Esports. So, I mean, think about that, man. I think I talked about this a couple times and Fred made fun of me, that the UFC just wasn't marketing DJ in the proper way. I mean, he has a big following on Twitch. You could send him to, go be the king of the nerds, and he could bring in a different crowd. And one is taking a shot at, being their ambassador for esports, obviously, because the Asia market is basically,
they're huge into
nerdy Asian kids, playing video games all day. So I mean, it makes sense. But I think that route of promoting DJ is just going to be fascinating to see how much of a star he becomes.
Yeah, look, man. One is actually working with DJ well, just like exactly you said, using him as ambassador for esports, and they're going to use it in a lot of different ways too. And there's rumor that they're signing Misha Tate to do something. Hopefully not, probably not fight, but they're signing Misha Tate to do something for him. They're doing in fact, that card, the first card DJ's fighting on is going to be I forgot the name of it, but it's going to be him and in a flyweight tournament, and it's going to be Eddie Alvarez in a lightweight tournament, like Grand Prix. So. Overall, they're doing big. They put in the money. Now they're going all in on it. Real quick on the YouTube comments. Shout out to Raider. Patrick's in here, giving surnames, hanging out. Raider. First, Patrick says, "I can't believe 125 division is going away." Well, it's going away. And then Given Surname says, "Cutting 125 makes sense. I don't mind much, even though I did like watching DJ a ton. The rest of them didn't do much for me, and that's kind of like the sentiment overall." And then real quick, Raider. I hadn't seen this earlier. Honestly, my Twitter feed has been like packed with political shit all day to where I just stopped looking at it. But apparently they're working. Raider says that according to MMA Kings, they're working on talking about bantamweight. They're working on Dominic Cruz against John Lineker for UFC 233 in Anaheim. So Jesse, you might want to go to that shit. They're loading that card up. They're loading that. Yeah, Lineker. They're loading that card up big time.
Is that really an appropriate fight for Dominic at this point?
No, because he might get fucking slept if he gets caught.
Don't you think if you're going to waste Dominic on maybe getting slept, why don't you put him up against Cody again?
I thought they were going to put him against Aljo, honestly. But I would have done the Cody fight.
I think that most people are probably assuming this is a very winnable fight for Dominic Cruz.
You think so?
I mean, look, Lineker hits hard, but he's predictable as fuck.
Yeah, he's slow. For
that he's just very predictable.
Yeah.
And for a fighter of Dominic Cruz's intelligence level and in-ring IQ, like, right. Unless he's lost a major step, like I see Dominic just, putting the Michael Jackson moves to John Lineker Jackson. Like his foot movement is going to have that little dude confused the whole fight, I would imagine. And I would think that's what everybody is imagining or banking on. As far as the UFC goes, get him some in-ring time, get him a win, get him primed up for a championship fight.
Right, exactly. But, I'm with you on that. What's up, Jesse?
No, I was just saying, but how many times are you going to roll the dice on these fights where you're assuming someone's going to win just because one of these fights is going to turn out bad and we're going to get just an upset and then something's going to get screwed up? We skimmed by the skin of our teeth over here with the DC fight that he didn't take a clean shot and get put out. But you saw what happened with, what was it?
Weidman?
Jacare. Yeah, Jacare and Chris Weidman. A guy who was dominating that fight and then got clipped and put to sleep. So,
what the fuck are you talking? Can you see my face? What the fuck are you talking about? DC and the skin of your teeth. DC won that fight in his sleep. And Jacare Weidman is not the same fucking thing because Jacare was an equally fucking matched opponent.
I'm saying that you had Jacare in an easier fight against David Branch, right? And you had a much more I would say a much more test of both of their skills with Rockhold and Weidman, right? But what I'm saying in the skin of their teeth on the DC fight is that let's live in the tinfoil hat world, and let's say our boy the Black Beast had landed a couple of haymakers on DC and put him to sleep. All right, that's what I'm saying. The skin of our teeth. I'm not saying it was a close fight. I'm just saying that we got away with this one without something catastrophic happening.
It could have went wrong.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like we could have had one of those situations where Joe Rogan's grabbing his bald head and just kind of looking like the world's about to end.
I mean, listen. Sometimes motherfuckers got to fight, and this ain't the WWE. I
Right.
think that John Lineker is about as a winnable fight as you're going to get for Dominic Cruz at 35. You said give him Cody Garbrandt. Motherfucker, do you want Dominic to fight again? That's a fight where he for real might get slept in. Yeah, if we're worried about him against John Lineker, we sure fuck don't want to sacrifice him to fucking Cody. Let Cody go sacrifice somebody. Let Dominic sacrifice somebody, and then let them fight. I tell you what, I got a fucking rant to go on at some point about the goddamn matchmaking in this organization. It's going to fucking shit. And we're going to get to fucking why. I'll start my fucking rant about a particular matchup that's just been made. But the matchmaking, god damn, Joe Silva, I miss you, baby.
I think we all miss Joe Silva,
Yeah.
my friend.
Jesus
We all do.
Yeah, he's legit sitting back there right now going like, I fucking told you motherfuckers this shit was happening.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Do you think Joe Silva watches the UFC right now, or do you think he's
Oh.
just reading his conspiracy stories and kind of sitting back enjoying all his money?
He's only watching the big. He's watching the big cards for sure and the pay-per-views. But
listen, I think
he's not watching UFC Nebraska.
I think he does. I think he does.
You
I
know?
think I think he spent so. He might not have for a while, but I think at this point, man, he spent so much time doing that shit. And plus, I think he can look at what all them are doing wrong and just look at me like, man, this is what I would do. I would have done this. Y'all are tripping. Like I think he probably keeps tabs. I mean, he done this for a long time. You know what I mean? I'm sure he does see what's happening to his baby from time to time. Even if he might not watch every card, but I'm sure he checks in like, okay, like Israel Adesanya. I'm sure he's curious about how they're going to match him up because you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's like, oh, this is what I would do with that cat. I'm sure he pays attention to those type of situations.
For sure. All right, I guess we're gonna see if Jason can come back. Dude was in traffic. If you guys know LA, like he's in LA, so shit. All right, let's talk about that match we were talking about. So again, the trade for DJ, we got Ben Askren, welterweight, right? So what does Ben Askren do immediately as soon as he even before it was even officially announced? He calls out Colby Covington. He calls out the Diaz brother. He calls out everybody but Tyron Woodley.
Jorge Masvidal, everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Literally everybody. And in other weight divisions, you start talking shit too. Okay. But he calls out everybody but Tyron Woodley, who's his buddy, and the guy that he's not matched up with, or in the works. It's reported, it's not official yet, I don't think. Robbie Lawler, former welterweight champion. That's the other guy that he had to say a peep about. And that's the matchup. And what everyone's saying about this matchup is, well, Robbie Lawler has good takedown defense. Sure. Did you watch Johnny Hendricks? Take him down, and at the end of that fight, Robbie Lawler literally throws his hands up like, well, what the fuck? Like, I got taken down again. Like, what am I supposed to do, right? And plus, and a lot of points that I'm sure you're gonna make right now, but and we talked about it before the show, and how do you feel about this matchup, dude?
I hate this matchup. This was exactly what I was talking about with the matchmaking that's going on right now in the UFC. I despise this matchup. Again, like you said, we were talking about before we went live. Will it be a good, okay fight to watch? Sure. But quite frankly, that's debatable for the stylistic matchup that we're going to see here. I think it might be exciting for a moment as Robbie kills Ben, or it's more than likely going to be a John Fitch-esque performance with Ben Askren doing what Ben Askren does. Like you said, man, Ben Askren, he was nice about literally two people. I mean, other than Tyron Woodley, which they're literally like brothers. They've literally been training partners since Tyron was fucking 17 or some crazy shit like that. Right. Like literally, that's so fair enough. Like that. Anybody who's been following the sport long enough knows that Kane and DC have that thing. Kane is to DC as Tyron Woodley is to Ben Askren. Like those dudes are that. The only other two guys that he was even remotely complimentary towards was RDA, ironically enough, and Robbie Lawler. Like literally, they went down the fucking division, naming every guy, and he's going bum, loser, ass fucker. I'd kill him. Give me him first. I'll fight Darren Till in England. Blah blah blah. Robbie Lawler, nah, he's cool. RDA, yeah, he's all right too. Loser, scumbag. What the fuck? And yeah, to all the people saying that Robbie Lawler's got okay takedown defense. It's okay at best. It's not. And listen, Ben Askren's takedown offense is fucking stellar. It's a horrible stylistic matchup for Robbie. Robbie's 147 years old. It's not going to be a money fight because there's going to be no shit that's talked.
Right.
You don't learn nothing from the fight. If indeed this fight goes like every fucking ass fuck loser that has a fucking MMA platform is going to get on and go, well, Ben Askren's probably going to get the takedown and control from top position. If that happens, which it probably will, what will any of us come away from this fight having learned?
That Ben Askren can beat up Robbie Lawler?
And how many of us are really fucking questioning that at this point in the game? If Robbie Lawler does not, in fact, land a big shot in the first round, what the fuck are we talking about, man? I mean, come on, man. This is fucking goofy. Like, I tell you what, I'm rooting for Robbie. I like Ben, but I want to see Robbie land the knockout punch just to spite everybody.
Yeah,
dude. Like, that would just, this seems like a fucking stupid thing. I mean, I would say maybe we're trying to get Ben Askren a win for the UFC audience, but clearly we don't need that, or we wouldn't have traded fucking DJ for him. Clearly, the faith is there that he's going to be able to generate the numbers, man. I really don't know. How do you not do Darren Till in England?
Because I think Darren Till is still a competitor in a market that you kind of want to protect. And I think Robbie Lawler is a former champion and is a kind of past his prime commodity that you can just kind of say, well, look, Ben Askren came into the UFC. His first fight was against a former champion and he beat him. All right. You know, he's legit. Like, you can tell that story. But if he goes in there and beats a prospect from England, a market that you're still trying to be alive in, it doesn't look well for that.
I guess I see your point on that. I still say they're fucking dropping the ball by not making the George fight. Maybe they can't make it because George just won't fight him. But I think you do that fight, man. That's the fight. That's intriguing. It's a moneymaker. It's a big shit talker. And if Ben Askren does lose that fight, we don't lose so much. If Ben Askren gets knocked out by Robbie Lawler, the jig is up. It's over. His second fight don't even matter at that point. He probably won't, but God forbid he does. We're not salvaging shit at that point.
What about the RDA fight? Would you agree that would have been a better first fight, or the Colby Cheese Covington, as you like to call him?
I mean, the Colby Covington fight's interesting, but I feel like you got to give Colby the Tyrone fight. I mean, at this point, it is fucking what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Colby gonna get that fight. But yeah, I'd fucking much rather have the Colby fight just because at least we can have some fun with the banter. I mean, it's enough with the respectable shit, man. Like, I don't know, man. When they announced this fight, I'm like, what the fuck? They picked the one fucking guy at 170 that I would be least excited about watching Ben Askren fight. I would literally rather watch Ben Askren fight Damian Maia just for the stylistic matchup of maybe, hey, we'll get to see what happens. Dude, once Ben Askren takes Robbie down, this fight's over. We don't even need to watch it no more. Like, Robbie's not getting up, and what are we doing? It's stupid.
So on the same thing you were saying about, you hope Lawler knocks him the fuck out somehow, just old Robbie Lawler. Fucking Raider says, please God, let old Lawler come out and beat the living hell out of him. Like, I'd be rooting for that shit too, honestly. I'm gonna be rooting for Lawler in that one. Given Surname says, if and when Askren wins, he'll be a villain. I think it's a genius fight. Askren laying on a legend who is known for his exciting fights is the perfect start to what Askren's career could ultimately be like.
Fuck that. Beating GSP makes you a fucking villain.
Good
and
point.
Makes you the ultimate, like, Robbie Lawler. Who Robbie Lawler fight last?
Fuck. It's
RDA wasn't it his last fight? RDA where he got knocked out?
Yeah.
Listen, the fact that we're all going is not good. That's my point.
Yeah.
We all live and breathe this shit. Like, I think that Robbie Lawler is just a bit out of our consciousness at this point. I don't think he's so much of a good guy that Ben gets anything from beating him. I think we'll all just kind of be like, bruh, because Ben's not going to relish in that. Ben's not going to play the bad guy against Robbie. If Ben comes out and starts shit talking Robbie and runs with this thing and pulls a Chael Sonnen, we might be able to get on to something. But if Ben comes out and is respectful to Robbie Lawler and they're shaking hands and shit, I don't think it matters that he dogs Robbie out. Nobody's going to care. I mean, we're gonna, if anything, it's gonna kill a little bit of Ben Askren's vibe because it's gonna be like, oh, this dude's boring. This is who we traded for fucking Mighty Mouse. Like he couldn't even fucking sub out Robbie Lawler. And then look, let me tell you something. Make no mistake about it. After Ben does what he'll probably do to Robbie, we're all gonna throw him under the bus. We're gonna say he's old as fuck. His takedown defense. Let me tell you something. I'm a smoker, so I can't remember that great. But he got held down by somebody in Strikeforce. A couple somebody. I can't remember, but there have been times in goddamn Robbie Lawler's career where he has fucking been held down by better grapplers. Was it Jake Shields, maybe?
I was going to say maybe it's Jake Shields because Jake Shields the guy that was doing that to everybody in Strikeforce.
Jake didn't even hold him down. Matter of fact, Jake submitted him in like 13 seconds. I remember now. He submitted him with a standing guillotine. I think really, really fast in like the first round or something. But even beyond that, man, Robbie's wrestling and takedown defense is not that good. It sure as fuck is not Ben Askren level. And 9 times out of 10, Ben Askren is going to John Fitch him, if you know what I mean.
Damn, Fred, did they wind those dreads a little too tight? You're like super amped up today.
Well, this fight fucking killed me. I'm like, man, are you fucking beyond this fight though? It really did make me think about the UFC's matchmaking as of late, man.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's go through. What was it? Was it last weekend's event? How many of those matchups were you excited to see, and then after the fight, were you like, yeah, that was a pretty good matchup? Not including the ones that were made last minute, like the Weidman Jacare and basically the Black Beast in DC.
I don't know. I'd have to fucking go back and think about it, but I can't imagine too terribly many.
The only one that I was pretty excited going into the fight, into the event, was the Stylebender against Brunson.
Yeah.
Past that, all the other fights were kind of like, I guess.
I will say they do get it right sometimes. I mean, it's not like it's just a complete travesty. I just felt like it used to be so much better, man. They always used to, even when fights would fall out, Joe Silva and DW would come through and give us a good fight.
But that's what I'm saying
now. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Look at how the you know, that Weidman Rockhold fight fell out, and they replaced it with a pretty good fight with Jacare in there, and you know. What was it? David Branch ended up getting a guy moving down. Was it down or up?
Down.
Down. And then he got mollywopped and smoked in that fight. So, you know, those last minute fights seem to work out better nowadays than the ones that they're planning out, you know, in advance. So unless it's like the big ones, like, you know, Connor, you know, some of those championship fights, but I could see what you're saying. Like a lot of these fights just don't do it for me.
Listen. I don't want to get off on a tangent here. God damn it, Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler is not a look. Is it an okay fight? Sure, but of the available options that they could have pulled off, unless there's just some shit. I ain't in the motherfucking industry. I don't know nobody. Maybe a whole bunch of other people said no. Lots of things could have went into this decision. For all of me, I do not like this fight at all. For Ben Askren's first fight in the UFC, I could think of a lot of other ways to go with this shit that would have made me a lot more pleased.
Yeah, no, look, man, they went, all the matches they could have done, and they went with this one. It's not the best one, I'll say that much, but it's, you know, it is what it is. Patrick's in the comments saying, also, why risk one of your most exciting brawlers comebacks on a guy who can make it a very boring fight?
Good point again. And listen, let's keep it a buck. Robbie Lawler don't got a whole bunch of fights left. I say you use Robbie for fun, entertaining fights at this point because he's probably not making another title run, and that's a good point. If he's got, let's say Robbie's got 3 fights left, right? I think that's a pretty good, agreeable amount of fights. Fuck, DC's about to quit. So, like, if Robbie got 3 more in the UFC, that would be a good run. Why risk one of those fights? Exactly. On a more than likely a one-sided fucking grapple fuck. It makes no sense. This is just like I said, man. There's just a lot of people that said no to this. I don't understand why the fuck they're doing this fight.
I'm telling you, Fred. It's that former champion angle that they're trying to sell here. They're trying to prop up Ben Askren as a guy that can beat up former champions, and that luster of having Robbie Lawler being a champion is just going to rub off on Ben Askren. Well, or at least that's what they're hoping is going to happen. But I agree with you. I think having a wet blanket fight is not going to be good for Ben Askren's first fight.
Ben Askren's about to be like this, like the UFC's new Jake Shields, and they're gonna be, or John Fitch, Jake Shields. They're just gonna be bored as shit with him, and they're gonna be upset that they grabbed him. Or maybe Dana White's just doing this to be like, see, I fucking told you guys, push people to sleep.
Yep.
I think I just realized
He's that much. He's that much of a fucking like salty motherfucker that he would do that. Bring him in just to be like, see, I told you, focus. He was boring.
I think I just realized something, man. I have a real problem with like 170s lineage in general. Like, I think George walking away with the title made me low key not really care about the fact that people were champions at that division anymore.
Right.
Even Tyrone at this point?
Kinda, yeah, a little bit. Like, George is still around winning titles. What are we doing? What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like, and then he came back at 185 and dipped off there. I mean, I low-key can't stand George St. Pierre. Will you come back and defend the belt or something? Or give us some closure or something? Like, you're still fighting. We got Kobe and Tyron. I legit kind of think that subconsciously for me, because I low-key don't give no merit to those cats.
Right.
Like, you keep saying that Robbie's a former champion and he deserves that, but for some reason, like, it don't fucking matter to me. Like, I hear that and that don't mean shit to me.
Okay. Does at least knowing that Robbie beat the guy that in a lot of people's eyes beat George St. Pierre, Johnny Hendricks for the title, does that at least give you a little bit more of like an understanding of that lineage, or is just a wash for you at this point?
Nah, man, because I mean, look, at the end of the day, Johnny lost that fight. We can all debate all we fucking want to, but it was close enough that George won. So maybe anything, it was a draw. Like, look, at the time that I think that George lost that fight, yeah. But did he fucking lose it? No. Did he lose his belt? Nah. Was it a super close fight no matter how you cut the cake? Yes. It ain't like Johnny Hendricks knocked him out. I mean, look, I can't stand George St. Pierre, but let's keep it a buck. Like, it was a close fight at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if anything, they should have had the rematch. They never had it. Johnny went on to become a bare-knuckled, fucking beer-bellied, goddamn redneck hillbilly.
Are you excited for that? Is anybody excited to watch that event?
For what? For Johnny Hendricks with bare knuckle?
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Why not?
Brendan Ward pulled out of that fight because of contract. The word is that they can't pay the motherfucker.
How is that?
Exactly.
Because I do know that, what is it, Boss Rutan is now the president over there, right? And
I don't know what the fuck's going on, but supposedly they couldn't meet their contractual obligations, is what the words were.
Shut up.
To me,
Okay.
It sounds like they couldn't pay the motherfucker. That's all it was.
Yeah. Well, I think Karen Bryant was saying that someone before they hired Boss was being a little too liberal with the paychecks over there. So I can see where that's going.
Hey, look, man. You know, when you might be paying certain outlets for fucking articles and shit, I'm sure you run out of money. So, and if you think that's bullshit, go ask them. Anyway, yeah. So take that as for what you will with that fucking bare knuckle shit. All right, enjoy the bloodiness show. I feel bad for Joey Beltran because hopefully they paid him before they fucking he took that whooping that it was a fucking crazy fight. But anyway, moving on to a fight that never was, allegedly. So. Sunday night, most of us were just fucking around. In fact, Fred was probably passed the fuck out. Over on the West Coast, it was like, what, 10:30, 11 at night? I
was still crying.
My phone was buzzing like crazy. I bet. My phone was still buzzing like fucking crazy. And then I happened to look at Twitter, and it's a bunch of people telling me, did you see this? Did you see this? And it's Floyd Mayweather at the RIZIN press conference. And I'm like, what in the blue fucking hell is going on? And so I tune into that shit just for a little bit. And the backdrop is, the whole, you had the little press conference paper or plastic background and shit. It's RIZIN. It says the money team. They printed out the money team all over this fucking thing, right? They played a promo for a fight, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so they announced that Floyd Mayweather was gonna fight Tension, not cut, motherfucker. Jesse, you know her name?
That works.
If it's in front of me, I could read it, but
isn't
it Nakamura?
I can't remember it, but I know it's easy to say.
Is it Nakamura?
It's Tension.
Yeah, Tension, not Sakua, I'll fucking figure it out right now. But anyway, doesn't matter.
It's Tension.
There you go, Tension. We'll go with Tension. But anyway, supposed to fight Tension, right? Who's a high-level kickboxer. I mean, high level. So we saw this shit, right? My first thoughts was immediately like, okay, What's the rule set? Because I don't think Floyd Mayweather would be against a fighting tension, but he's not going to fight in a MMA fight. Certainly not going to fight him in a kickboxing fight, match, right? So my first thought was, okay, what are the rules? No kicks, no takedowns. Basically, boxing in Juan's gloves. Sure, why not? Let's see what happens, right? Then today, Floyd Mayweather puts out a post on Instagram, basically saying that he was misled. It was the old bait and switch, right? He was told it was going to be an exhibition fight. It was like 3-minute rounds, 6 3-minute rounds, or 9 3-minute rounds, whatever it was, right? For a bunch of like rich ass people to watch, it was like a private fight, and he wasn't fighting tension. He wasn't main eventing no fucking MMA card. Fred, do you buy that he had no idea, like that he was basically misled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
Was it in writing?
Floyd ain't exactly.
Well, there was no like sound battle agreement. I'll say that much.
Floyd ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. Look, could there have been more knowledge on Floyd's behalf and him have went into this thinking it was going to be a 4-round exhibition boxing match with these specialized rules, and then when they got there, the other team wanted to add in kicks, and because Floyd's a sissy, he said fuck that, X-nay on that, and then this is just the story he's given us. Maybe that could be true too. But I don't think that he was necessarily bamboozled. I don't think he went into it fucking not knowing nothing, but I don't think he knew everything either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Would fucking just waste our time per se. I think that he had. I think there was a little something there, and they just couldn't get the details ironed out right. And afterwards, Floyd was just like, "Oh, they was trying to play me, Jack." Make himself look like he wasn't trying to, probably avoid getting some kicks thrown in there or the like.
Can I just say, RIZIN is ran by the same people that sold Pride to the UFC and basically was like, "Yep, here you go. Here's all the contracts." And there was nothing there.
Contracts, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite part of that whole story.
It does not surprise me that they would do a bait and switch on someone like Floyd Mayweather. And like I said, not to be insulting and mean, but Floyd Mayweather's not a written down reading type of guy. He's more of he's going to go over there, he's going to promote something because they maybe told him, "Hey, we're just going to do this, we're just going to do that." And then once it gets down to it, now they're trying to make it a big deal and trying to make him to do something that he probably doesn't want to do. Honestly, I agree with you guys. I initially thought this is just going to be an exhibition, kind of, what was it, Rocky 3, Hulk Hogan, Rocky type of deal, kind of make it fun for the Japanese because they love that sort of thing. And it makes sense that this is probably going to not happen and fall apart.
Can I say, though, on a side note, I realize this will never happen. So for all the realistic pricks out there, before you start running your mouth, shut the fuck up. I get it. I get that this was probably not a real possibility. But can I just say, for the sake of argument, with this fight being announced, even though it was never real, and we all knew there were going to be specialized rules, the idea of it was very fascinating to me. And the fact that we actually got to see Conor box Floyd was also super fascinating. I know it's not possible, but I gotta say, there's a part of me that really wish we could start doing this. Like, guaranteed things where high-level kickboxers and boxers and MMA guys would agree to fight each other on each other's turfs, one apiece. So Floyd would have had to come fight Conor in the octagon, which means that it probably never would have happened because they're all a bunch of sissies, like Chael Sonnen would say. But it would be very interesting if we could get an Anthony Joshua to agree to a Stipe Miocic double fight. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Stipe will come box you, but then you got to return the favor and come fight Stipe in the UFC. I think it does big numbers on both ends, and I think it is intriguing. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with this tension cat. Like, of course, Floyd Mayweather would never do it, but do both of them, man. Make tension box you, and then go fight tension in a kickboxing bout. Of course, your legs are going to kick off money, but like, it'd be cool if some of these guys actually had the balls to do it. You know what I'm saying? Think what you will about cats like James Toney or Conor McGregor or even Ray Mercer. Like a lot of these cats that actually did it and kind of look like shit, at least they did it, man. And that is super fucking ballsy and intriguing and requires a lot of fucking respect. Who are some of the kickboxers? Fucking Gokhan Saki and who's the guy that broke his leg like Anderson Silva? Beastly kickboxer who was an MMA kicking ass.
Oh, yeah, that
Not
guy.
Joe Schilling. Who was
No,
it?
no. I know who he's talking about. The guy from, what is it, ATT down in
Yeah,
Florida?
snapped his fucking leg. And he was an animal with it. Anderson started crying like a girl. Dude broke his shit and just looked at it like, oh, I broke my leg. Come on.
He's like, oh, fuck.
Anyways, there's a lot of tough guys who have actually done it. I would love to see that a little more often, especially high-level boxers. That would be intriguing as fuck. Maybe not MMA, but at least kickboxing.
James Toney had the fucking balls to get in there with Randy Couture. No,
Right.
good and goddamn well what was going to happen.
But he still fucking did it, Jack.
It.
Yeah, it was intriguing. Like, again, we can all look back on it and talk shit about it, but at the time it was intriguing, man, and it was interesting. And James Toney was way past his prime. If we could get a fucking Deontay Wilder to try that, tell me we get Deontay Wilder in there with Stipe Miocic, the whole world isn't fucking tuning in for that fight.
That would sell like crazy.
I'm interested as fuck already.
Yeah, just you talking about that makes me want hope that happens.
Even Deontay versus Francis Ngannou. I'll have it.
That'd be more fun.
I'll have it.
You know what? No, I wouldn't mind Deontay against even Derek Lewis because the talk would be so much fun. The talk would be so much fun. All right, so Nasukawa, thanks a lot, giving surname, appreciate that. And then he says, RIZIN paid. Here's a good theory. RIZIN paid Floyd to do the presser so they could get Tension's name out. Never was gonna happen. Possible,
maybe.
I depend on how much they paid him.
Do you think, Eddie, that somebody showed Floyd Mayweather that video of that gangster in the parking lot getting leg kicked and then taken down, and then he was like, "Oh, that could happen to me? No, I'm good. Then I'm out."
No, look, Floyd Mayweather might not be the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to everything else, but when it comes to fighting, he fucking knows what he can and can't do.
Oh yeah,
he knows what would happen to him if he ever got in a cage. Like he was full of fucking shit when he said, "Yeah, I'll fight Conor in the cage." You don't think that man knows exactly how how Conor fights? He knows exactly how Conor fights.
But you don't think that there's a part of Floyd Mayweather that has the bravado to be like, yeah, give me like 2 years, 2 years of training with my people, and I'll go over there. Yeah.
Younger, maybe like 27, 26-year-old Floyd Mayweather. I'll give you that. 40, what is he, 41? 40 something? Yeah, let's say he's 41, 42. 42-year-old Floyd Mayweather goes, yeah, I'm not about getting embarrassed right now.
Tell you what, it don't matter at all because he's already a billionaire, and my punk-ass little piddly opinion of him means absolutely diddly shit in the grand scheme of things. But if that motherfucker ever did just actually take one high-level MMA fight, or like actually would have went and kickbox Tension on New Year's Eve and done it with kickboxing rules, even for 3 or 4 rounds, like my respect level for him would be through the roof. Just that he did it. And you know what's crazy about it is what I think would be really cool. And obviously Floyd don't probably give a shit because he's the greatest boxer. Boom. But like, bro, you can lose that fight and it still wouldn't matter. Like if he just did it and did it with kickboxing rules and made that walk, all of us would be like, okay, then Floyd, you about to get your legs kicked off and thunder kicked in the head. But okay, then. Like most of us would never be able to believe. Like even when this fight was supposedly happening, I thought, okay, well, we all know Floyd ain't gonna kickbox this cat. Like it's not gonna be a real. Like I never even like if that would have came out and Floyd had agreed to a full-on fucking glory style kickboxing match with this kid, my jaw would have been on the floor. And if he would have actually went through with it and done it, and how about this? Allow your mind to wonder just for a moment that Floyd lands that lucky punch, agrees to the fight, takes a couple shots to the leg, boom, knocks this kid unconscious. Oh my God, right? You know what I mean? Like hypothetically, that's all the marbles. Then all of a sudden Floyd can come and be like, yeah, I did that kickboxing thing, Jack, a little Tension. I went over there and slept the little dude in 1 round. Like,
and he could have called it an MMA fight.
Right.
You can still call it that.
Exactly, man. again, I know it's all hyperbole and it would never happen, but it would be so interesting if one of these guys would actually just do it and say, fuck it. You don't got a whole lot to lose.
Okay, but now think about this. Do you think it's more of a money thing? Do you think RIZIN just does not have the capital to pay Mayweather to do something like this? And do you think maybe, let's say, a UFC might be able to, just, push their chips all in and try to convince Floyd with a very, very big paycheck to come and fight a UFC fight?
I mean, does RIZIN probably not have the money? Yeah, you're probably right there. Does the UFC have the money to do it? You're probably right there, but would they do it? Is it worth it to get Floyd in there? I don't necessarily think so. Floyd would probably take, look, man, Floyd would probably fight a shark for the right amount of money. Like, could the UFC get Floyd in there? Probably. But to what ilk? Floyd rather might charge them, you know what I mean? Like, he might want co-promote. Like, Floyd could be asking a lot to get in that cage. And at that point, like, I don't know if it would necessarily. And look, again, I'm talking about my ass. They might not be able to get Floyd, period. Floyd might be like, y'all crazy. I'm already sitting on 400, 600 million, whatever, past tax. Now, I ain't fighting nobody in no cage. Like,
But also, Fred, you also have to think about this, and we have to think about this. The future of the UFC is not just based in, what is it? WME or whatever Endeavor's doing anymore. You have to also think about the relationship that Dana White is trying to create with these boxers, because he is, in fact, launching his Zuffa boxing. And that is an avenue where, it's going to be interesting to see the relationships that he's going to have to keep. He's going to have to keep in good standing with, the Golden Boys and, the Mayweathers and, the Bob Arums and all the other promoters out there, because now they have a good stiff competition with DAZN, signing these big major fighters, and HBO getting out of the boxing business. There's a void that needs to be filled there. And I think Zuffa boxing is going to try to fill that void, and those relationships are going to have to be formed. And, maybe Mayweather is one of those ones that they may want to keep.
Listen, everybody keep fucking with Trump. Somebody need to start fucking with DAZN and look at they what kind of coke did they have to sell to start getting? Who the fuck are they? They are throwing around big bank Hank, dog. DAZN is signing fucking I heard they were in talks to sign Triple G.
Yeah, they are still in talks.
Are they making their own money? Like, they just signed fucking Canelo for like $400 million. Triple G gonna come for at least probably the same ticket. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be probably nuts. They're betting on themselves, man. If this shit don't work out, though, fuck, these are gonna be.
Yeah, shit. But think about it. That's gonna be a channel, a streaming network that didn't have to do it the traditional route. They're basically the Netflix of fighting, right?
Right.
What the UFC tried to do with Fight Pass, what WWE tried to do with their network. DAZN is really becoming like the fighting streaming service, and that's great for them. That's great for our friends over at Combates. That's great for Bellator, and all the other people that they're trying to get. Now imagine if DAZN also sneaks in some more like rugby, soccer, some of those other sports that aren't televised that people have trouble watching and stuff like that. I mean, DAZN could be very, very competitive this coming year.
Good. They're gonna try it, definitely. We'll watch. We're fucking idiots. We'll just watch everything. Anyway, all right. Anything else before we get to talk about UFC 230?
Yeah, I don't know if you got the email as well, Eddie, but I got an email today from Combate Americas that they're going to be doing a live press conference. Oh my God, talking is stupid right now. Live from Fresno, California at the Mexican consulate over in Fresno. And they're basically doing a kickoff press conference for their Copa Combate that's happening in December.
Stop. Why at the consulate?
Hey, the Mexican consulate. Why not?
I mean, technically, you're doing it on Mexican soil, right?
Right. That's basically it right there.
Fucking Campbell, dude. Look, man, if you don't think Campbell knows good and goddamn well what he's doing, you think he's just a crazy person? No, it's both. He's fucking insane and knows what the fuck he's doing. Like, It's the small details. It'll give you a chuckle, but he'll do it just for that little giggle. You know what I mean? For a little giggle, for real. And he'll be like, we don't have to fly all the way to Monterrey, right? Is when the next fight is. Like, we don't have to go to Monterrey for that press conference. We'll do it here. We're in Mexico, in LA, but in Mexico or Fresno. But that's fucking hilarious. God damn it, Campbell. I give that guy so much credit for just being like a goofy fuck. But he's one of my favorites.
He's a great interview.
He's one of my favorites for real.
If we could ever get him on the show, he'd be great. But
like when I get to his age, if I could be that goofy, I'd be happy.
Look, I'll tell you this much: every show that they do on DAZN now, he's giving out his cell phone number for people to contact him and tell him how the show went and everything. So he's just a wild man. Anyway, they're doing this kickoff press conference. They're going to announce the rest of the combatants that are going to be at the Copa Combate, and they're going to have the ones that they've previously announced: Andres Quintana, Gaston Reno, some of the ones that we talked about with Mike from what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? Jeez, I don't even remember. I think it was last week, right?
I think it was last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, I feel like I've been hitting the head so many times. Jesus Christ, what's going on?
Damn,
anyway,
man. Maybe you have.
But so you can watch it live on Facebook. I think it's Jesus. I think I wrote it down. It starts at 10 p.m. No, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whatever.
There you go. All right. Let's talk about UC 230. Honestly, there's a handful of fights, but I think the biggest thing to talk about there, besides the main event and the co-main, Israel Adesanya.
I thought you were going to talk about your favorite Sijara Eubanks.
Bro, look, man. You know what? I'll fucking go on that. Look, chick. She came out afterwards. She's like, well, because I don't care if everyone hates me. You gotta watch me. No, the fuck I don't. I barely watched you that night. Barely. And you know why I even tuned in? I want to see Roxanne Modafferi fuck you up, or at least like just beat you by like a little bit. You miss weight. You have a shit attitude about the fact that you missed weight. What is this shit? Oh, I miss weight. Shrugs. Shrug emojis. That's what you got? Like, that's what you got? Fuck you talking about?
Listen.
Ain't nobody want to watch Eubanks. Fuck out of here. And I hope you know what? Fuck that. No, what?
If you come out and Ronda Rousey a hoe, then you can do that. And all due respect to Roxanne Modafferi, if you come out and have that close of a fight with her, you need to be humble.
Yep.
They should have kicked on Kendrick Lamar as soon as she won that fight. Bitch, be humble. Like, now's the time to kick. It'd be one thing if you come out and thrashed her, because even then we could hold it against you, but at least you could just be like, look at what I'm doing to bitches.
Right.
Whatever. Suck it. That fight sucked. That fight sucked. And you barely won it against a girl who, quite frankly, if she wasn't so goddamn nice and wasn't such a veteran in this sport, I don't think would be in the UFC.
Bro, I was live tweeting this shit for Cage Side Press. Oh my God, I wanted to climb my eyeballs out. Just claw them out. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, it was one of those, like, and I don't know, man. And
it's one of those things, man. Like, you don't get to be fat and cheap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to do both, dude. You don't get to miss weight and be in a boring fight and then be cocky about it. Like, nah, bro. Like,
Eddie, am I remembering this wrong? But wasn't Sijara one of the biggest favorites on that card too? Going into that fight?
I don't.
Man, it's because Roxanne Modafferi ain't no good. I know people don't want to say that because she's a nice girl, but bro.
Raider says Roxanne is horrible. I'm sorry, but she is, man. Sijara is too. Look, look. Roxanne belongs in Invicta. She always has. She always will. Because, dude, look, she's so jerky, man. Like, she's so jerky.
Okay. Whoa. All right. Now let's compare the Roxanne in her first attempt in the UFC and now. Has she improved? Yes, she has. Should she have been in there against Sijara Eubanks? Probably not. Should Sijara Eubanks had destroyed her in one round? Yes, she should have. She should not have had that much trouble with her. And now she's being cocky about missing weight and still being a contender. I say, here's what I say. I say throw her at Valentina and have Valentina show her what a true championship fight would feel like, and just throw her a beating for about a round. Maybe half of a round before she gets KO'd, and then we can also kick her to the curb like the 125ers, and we can move on.
Hey, Raider says, does she still punch like a 7-year-old? Yeah.
Yep.
She does. Anyway, all right. Besides the main event, the co-main event, Israel Adesanya, just being super surgical with Brunson. That was fun to watch. That was impressive. It was just really fun to watch because it was, Brunson tried to take him down, he got him down a little bit, and then just his takedown defense was good. He popped back up to his feet, and just the way he hurt Brunson and just picked him apart to end the fight, that was beautifully done.
How about the fact that Brunson was almost ripped off his shorts just trying to keep him against the cage
twice.
Plus the fact that, you know what, I gotta give it up to Fred over here talking about, I think it was last week or the week before, I think it was last week, about how who was the fighter who basically got taken down and gave up the position very quickly and quoted Chuck Liddell as saying, as you know, you never give up the position, you only give up the position once you're finally like defeated. And, you know, as soon as you feel anything touch the ground, you're fighting back up. You're trying to regain that position. You're never giving up the takedown. That's what, Stylebender was doing. Never gave up any position. Never, just felt defeated in any sense. Always was fighting against everything that Brunson was doing and making Brunson work. And really, like Eddie said, just surgical with the striking and really, really put it on Brunson. I mean, it almost seemed like Brunson was fighting to not lose, and then he ended up losing anyway. So it was just a bad performance for Brunson either way.
Yeah, it was bad all around, man. But Israel Adesanya, Fred, he looks like a rising star. We've seen guys, get hyped up like a motherfucker before and just totally eat shit. He looks like one of those guys that's going to be able to actually fulfill his potential. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he is a rising star. Will he, max out his potential? That's hard to say yet. We just don't know yet. He's doing everything right up till now, though, man. You couldn't ask for more from the kid. He's fucking charismatic. He's brash. He's cocky. He's intelligent. Extremely fun to watch. And literally, he's one of these guys that's so fucking good. He makes you wonder what's next. And a lot of guys don't got that. You know what I mean? To where you're like, wow, this motherfucker might just pull off a Phantom 360 fucking 520 spin ghost kick on somebody, Jack. Like some shit that we ain't never seen before. Like even like way back in the day, man, like Damian Maya's grappling. Like there are certain fighters that come in with a new kind of skill. Lyoto Machida's, karate. Like there are certain people that just got this new shit, and I don't even really know it ain't like he's bringing in a new style or something. What the style bender, right? Like he's just but really it's his striking that is just like I suppose Anderson Silva-esque, just very pinpoint and precise. Like it's been a while since we've seen that level of precision mixed with this level of like, I don't know, justified cockiness. He's got this kind of cocky arrogance about he knows how good he is, but like, who are we to say that he doesn't,
Oh, he's earned it.
Prove him wrong, Jack. Like he said he was going to do this shit and he did it. Yeah. And afterwards, he wasn't mincing words. He was like, fuck, Derek Brunson's trash. He's slow. He's trash. I threw him a beating. I knew I was going to. Damn. I love it. Like, only thing I'm curious about now is just, Derek Brunson is a very formidable opponent, but there are levels to this, Derek Brunson is a high level, but I think Derek Brunson's like a B plus. I need to see him in there with an A. You know what I mean? Like even with the grappling, like Weidman, Jacare, Yoel. Like he's in a Shark Tank, man. There are some cats that can really, like, people are like, oh well, he's answered the grappling questions. Not completely. Like Derek Brunson's a hell of a grappler, but there are levels. Like if he could do that to Chris Weidman, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely there, but he's got a couple. People are like, well, just give him the title shot. Easy, big fella. This is why we need Joe Silva for all you little Russians there. Like I think he's one fight away from a title shot, but he's still a fight away, man. He needs a Weidman, a Rockhold, a Jacare. He needs another name and a real legit name. And if he does, anything remotely close to what he just did to fucking Derek Brunson to that cat, then boom, yeah, completely title shot.
100%. People were throwing out Raider says Jacare versus Adesanya would be fire.
I'm fucking down for it. And Jacare just beat Weidman, so he deserves, that would be a fight that would merit that. And Jacare don't quite frankly deserve the title shot just yet either, but beating Adesanya would Weidman and Adesanya, that should be enough to give him the title shot that he's long deserved, kind of, or that's long eluded him rather.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then let's go down the line. Fred, give me a name that you want to see him next that would propel him to the title shot, and then Eddie.
Adesanya?
Yeah, Adesanya. You're Joe Silva right now, Fred, and your assignment is to give him the next fight that's going to get everybody excited for his after that fight a title shot.
Jacare, okay. Especially coming off now that Jacare is coming off of this win over Weidman. Before that, I would have said Weidman just because the stylistic matchup, but Jacare's got some serious grappling chops too. So, Jacare, I think, coming off of this weekend, that's the fight. If you want to get him a title shot, that's one.
So, to get him a title shot, if it's not Jacare, this one's a little scarier because of what kind of like wrestler he is. But Yoel Romero,
I like it
because look, Paulo Costa just pulled out as our next fight. He's out with an injury. He's available. It's there for the taking. If Israel Adesanya believes he can do it.
On that note, that's a fun fight too, though.
Right. And the thing I like about the Yoel Romero fight is the fact that a lot of people still doubt Adesanya's wrestling. And even though he's proven against, Marvin Vettori, what was it, Brad Tavares, and now Derek Brunson, that his wrestling defense has held up against those three guys who, they're not Yoel Romero type wrestlers, but they're pretty damn good wrestlers. They're pretty good wrestlers, and they were not able to really put him down and keep him down. I think Vettori was the only one out of those three to hold him down. And how long ago was that? So his improvement in wrestling has gotten so much better. So putting him against a Yoel Romero would just answer that question fully.
I mean, not, to keep it a buck though, for real, not really. I think for real, if we wanted to test Israel's fucking wrestling, Weidman. Like hypothetically, if we're just curious how he's going to do against a grapple-heavy Americanized wrestler that's going to test him on that level, Weidman's the guy. Who the fuck has Yoel wrestled? I know. We always hear about his fucking Olympic fucking heritage. Since he has been in MMA, who have we really seen him go hard offensively wrestling again? Like, we know he has that skill, but I think he would very well try to trade with dude. I mean, he might shoot for the takedown eventually, but I don't think it would be the same like Chris Weidman. I think Chris Weidman would be heavy on the takedowns and a vast array of them. I think if you can fucking prevent Chris Weidman from taking you down, ain't nobody in that fucking division taking you down, Jack.
If Weidman actually sticks around at 185 and doesn't go to 205 like many people, including his coach, think he's going to do or should do, I'm not against that fight.
I mean, I'm speaking strictly from just a testing Israel's wrestling point of view too.
Right.
If that's what we're trying to do here, I think Weidman is the best. Because I mean, Jacare and Yoel both, have good wrestling, but it's not like Chris's. You know what I'm saying? Like his offensive
really
would be a different test.
You think Chris Weidman's wrestling is better than Yoel Romero's, huh?
For MMA and in MMA, 1,000,000%, absolutely. I'm not speaking of what they did outside of MMA. I know that
I understand.
Credentialed, but in the cage for MMA's, for what I've seen in their fights, yeah, for sure. Chris Weidman has leaned on his wrestling in fights before, and it has won him fights. What fight has Yoel ever really used his wrestling to win? Quite frankly, I think you can make the argument that motherfucker loses fights that he should be using his wrestling in that he doesn't.
Yeah, no, man. Again, if they do that Romero fight, it might be a little too early, but I'd be okay with it. But yeah, I missed most of what you guys were saying. But with Weidman, that would be if he says at 185, I'm down with that fight too. So Jacare, Weidman, and Romero for me. That's who I think he should be next.
Yeah.
All right. Now the co-main event was the saddest thing I've seen in a long time because I thought Weidman had that fight. I thought Weidman had that fight coming at the end, and to get knocked out like that. I mean, shit. He looked about as like I don't know. I don't even know the words. It was the saddest shit I've seen in forever, man. But Fred, with that kind of finish, I know earlier you said that you don't really think Jacare earned a title shot with that win. But where does that? I think to me the more interesting question is where does that put Weidman? Not where does that put Jacare? Where does that put Weidman? Like to you?
I mean, look, man. I think a lot of people are going to point at the fact that I think he's lost 3 out of his last 4 or some shit like that. But look, I suppose it could go up to 205. For all of me, I don't give a fuck. Like you said, listen, here's a couple facts, right? Yeah, he might have lost 3 of his last 4. But you know who that W was? Was the cat that's about to fight for the belt. Was Kelvin Gastelum.
Yep.
All right. And he just lost this fight, right? He was winning that fight. Now I know it doesn't really matter, but like if we're talking about cutting him or we're talking about these extreme measures, look, he didn't go out and get trounced by Jacare. And quite frankly, if they fought 2 months from now, most people would probably be betting on Chris to win that fight.
For sure.
Jacare don't land that punch and that fight goes to the decision, he almost assuredly loses. So like, I think a lot of people are going to come down heavy on Chris, but he's been fighting high-level guys for a month of Sundays. Moving to 205 works fine for me because he seems like he has a little trouble making 85. Yeah. But I ain't mad at it. He's got a W over the guy who's about to fight for the belt. He was winning this fight pretty handily, low-key, up until he wasn't. So, he don't really get even in the Yoel Romero fight. It was a close fight until he catches that big knee. Like, he's not out there just getting destroyed by guys. So, I mean, I ain't hating on it. Do whatever you want for all me. I'm not ready to see the belt drop. Put you like that, Jack.
Yeah, I like the move to 205. He actually changed his body because the cut to 185 has gotten so crazy. If you notice him, he's way skinnier and a little more fair looking than when he fought, for example, Anderson Silva. So I think the move to 205 would be great for him. But with Jesse, with Jacare here, he got the win, former middleweight champion. Jacare is a guy. First of all, this is the fight we want to see, but maybe like 3-4 years ago. But Jacare is a guy who, with this win, whether we like it or not, is a fucking contender for a title shot.
Right.
In your mind, has he done enough to get the winner of Gastelum Whitaker, or does he need one more win? And against who would you want to see him do it?
Okay, so if I'm going the keyboard warriors, like just as a fan,
right?
I would say no. I would say he needs one more fight, and I would say that would come against like maybe a Luke Rockhold or
he fought Yoel, right? And Yoel won.
Yeah, Yoel beat him.
Yeah.
Or even I guess I would even have to throw in Adesanya there. He would need one more fight just to solidify himself. If I'm doing the analytics from my heart, it would be a sad day to see Jacare hang up, his MMA gloves and not have fought for the title when he was in the UFC and he was still doing what he's doing now, which is beating some top level guys. So, me being just a fan of Jacare and, just seeing what he's done up until this point, I would definitely just say, yeah, put him in there, give him the title shot, keep him as a reserve if Gastelum can't go. But I think, if we're trying to keep it like Fred likes to say, if we're trying to keep it funky, I think he needs one more fight.
Okay, I'm down with that. All right, let's talk about the real quick in the YouTube comments. 2 guys that haven't been, one hasn't been here in a minute, the other one hasn't been here in fucking forever. Joy Tremendous showing up and Gun Death Punch Face in the comments section. Hey, what's up, boys? What up?
What's up?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen either one of these guys. More Gun Death though. That dude disappeared. But I like what he says though. He goes, kind of miss y'all. Don't miss Twitter though. Like, yeah. Well, yeah. Twitter doesn't change you. You're not missing anything. Anyway,
all I know is that I've been hearing Eddie slowly go into madness from all the ads and infomercials and all the slander.
It's supposed to have ended yesterday. So if I see one more goddamn fucking smear ad from some stupid ass politician, I'm gonna lose goddamn mind.
What grinds my gears? It's all these fucking pricks with their pictures with their I voted sticker.
I did it. First of all, I voted in the mail, so I didn't even get a sticker. But I was kind of like trolling him a little bit. It might have backfired. It backfired on me big time. But I was trolling a little bit. You remember that little fat kid in the bus in The Simpsons where he's just like, I'm in danger. That guy. Yeah. There's one of him with the I voted sticker, and I posted it up on Facebook, and I was like, don't pretend like you didn't read that shit, in his voice, because that's why I wanted to.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's why I posted that. But people started liking it and shit. And I'm like, no, that's not at all what I wanted. Like, I wanted y'all to be like, haha, yeah, LOL and shit. But no, it was just like everyone was like liking it, like I actually meant to put that as I voted. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not trying to do that.
It's dope. Everybody's voting. That's cool. I'm glad you're all voting. But get off of social media. We don't need to know that you voted. We don't care.
Yeah.
Real quick,
we don't need to see you with your sticker.
Right.
Real quick side note: Have either of you guys listened to the last Radio Lab
podcast? The one about fuck. Remind me what it was about, because it might be a newer one.
It was about the election process.
No, in that case, no.
Then no. It's pretty good. I think you especially, Eddie. I don't know, Fred, how political you are, but it's a pretty interesting one about the voting process that they have in Ireland, where everybody's vote counts no matter what.
Well, is it the one where like they talk about how they put like levels, like you don't just vote for one person, you put in like your top three?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Fred, you should definitely listen to that one, because it's actually really fucking good. I listened to about a quarter of it. We got to that part, and then I had to fucking bail. It's actually queued up for tonight for when I go to work.
It's really interesting, because you get to find out that in the good old state of California, up in San Francisco, they have a kind of similar process of that for their local whatever, voting their local stuff. So if you can, Fred, give it a listen to. It's Radio Lab's not that long. Normally it's like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, it's a short listen.
They're always real interesting. It's a really, really good podcast. So
yeah,
my 2 cents.
All right, and then let's talk about the main event is 2:30, and then we're gonna fly through Denver because I literally got to go soon. DC versus Daniel Cormier versus Derek Lewis, finishing the rear naked choke. Yeah, rear naked choke. In the first round, it was a wrestling clinic, but that's exactly what I expected. I'm sure it's exactly what everyone else expected. Fred, what is it? Did this fight do anything? Because you were talking about earlier, what did we learn? What are we going to learn from Ben Askren and Lawler? And what are we going to learn? Did we learn anything here?
No, there was nothing to be seen, nothing to be learned. I mean, listen, listen, we did learn something. You know what we learned? Is that sometimes the MMA gods are just and they are fair. And sometimes the rules do just apply. And sometimes what we all know is going to happen fucking happens. And that is what it is. Like, we all knew that this was what it was, but cool beans, right? Fucking Derek Lewis gets the best payday of his life. DC gets a little bit of a warm-up, tune-up fight, if there ever was such a thing in MMA, and another payday. Yeah, man, there's not much to say here. This all went exactly how we expected. We will probably get DC. The more interesting conversation now becomes, what do we get with DC after this? Because, I mean, as far as this fight goes, I mean, yeah, listen, it went as exactly as anybody with a fucking half a brain would have thought it would have went. So there's that. Where does DC go? Is it John Jones? Is it Brock Lesnar? Is it both of them? Is it Stipe?
It's Brock. It's Brock. It's got to be Brock.
Okay, wait, on that point, and Jesse, definitely comment on this. Brock just re-signed with the fucking WWE.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, again, those contracts can definitely have a thing where it's like, hey, I'm allowed to go fight for the UFC if I fucking want to. But does that mean that it's a higher chance that we get Jones 3 instead of Brock?
Listen, I just was watching that fucking MMA chat hour thing with Ramundi and whatever. And Ramundi's a fucking wrestling guy, so he was talking a little bit about this.
Of course he is.
He was saying that the UFC's, I guess, heir apparent heavyweight guy was a guy named Roman Reigns.
Yeah, this dude actually, I read about him. He had leukemia, and now he's fighting it again.
Well, right, and I guess what they're saying is the WWE came to Brock Lesnar and was like, "Yo, we need you for our face of the organization while dude's out for a while, leading into WrestleMania,
Right.
which is in March or April or something like that." So, and they did say that Brock definitely does have a clause in his contract that says that he can compete for the UFC while he's in the WWE. But I'm not a big Ramundi fan, but he did bring up a good point in saying, true, but would the WWE really let dude go fight before WrestleMania and potentially get the shit beat out of him, and then have to come and wrestle? You know, I mean, because DC wants to fight in March,
right?
So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know exactly what all this means, man.
Well,
it's weird.
Jesse, when is WrestleMania? Because I'm assuming that's why they want it for WrestleMania, right?
I think that's the big one. Yeah, I think it's in March or April, right around.
If that's in March or April, and to train for a fight, like, you're gonna have to pick one or the other, no?
That's the point. It seems like it, and it seems like he, by signing with the WWE, may have agreed to look out for them. He doesn't have to pick one or the other, but it almost seems unfeasible that he could do both well at all. And like, depending on how the DC one goes, I mean, DC might fuck him up, man. This shit ain't, that one ain't the other one. Like, he can't really do that fight too much before his fake fight.
Right.
He might fuck around and get hurt bad. He might get stitches. And I mean, I guess he could, but again, is that a look the WWE wants? Like, Brock Lesnar's kind of sold as this savage beast, so he comes out with a black eye and he looking like a battered wife and shit. Like,
yeah, he can.
Not a great look for your champion in the fake world of wrestling.
But here's the thing: they can kind of make it to where it's in their favor. It's in Brock Lesnar's favor. They can write the story for him and make him look good, right?
Okay.
And from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but doesn't Brock Lesnar not even really wrestle too much unless it's a big event? So it's not like he's going to be doing a heavy schedule of, you know, going to shows and wrestling in front of crowds. It's more like he'll probably show up. Yeah, he'll probably show up, maybe, you know, throw someone out of the ring, rip off his shirt, play his music, walk down to the ring or whatever. Okay. I think he could definitely still do the fight. But like Fred says, it's a risk of what it's going to look like after that fight. And if he gets hurt, will that affect his bottom line over at the WWE? And is the WWE willing to risk their face getting hurt before? You know, and it's not a, you know, and even then, I mean, like, I could just see them just, you know, rolling the dice, letting them fight, and then, you know, saying, hey, you know, we'll give you like the easiest match possible. We'll give you a guy that'll help you through the entire match, you know, make it light on you, and then just rock and roll with it. So I don't see this as a barrier.
I don't know, man. Maybe, but like, I mean, dude, he could get his arm broke. Like, if anything, you got to do the real fight after the fake fight. You can't do the real fight before the fake fight, Jack. Like,
yeah, but you could also still get hurt in the fake fight.
Yeah, but I mean, at least that was choreographed, and if all things go as planned, you won't. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen with DC. He's a trained killer.
Yeah.
I mean, hypothetically, he could beat the piss out of Brock Lesnar. I mean, we've seen some bad fights. It could be quick, or then again, Brock could be tough enough that it could go on for a while, and he could get stitches all over his face and end up getting arm barred and his arm hyper. I mean, he could end up, you know. And DC, if anybody could do it, DC's the type of guy that could do it. I mean, he ain't fighting no fucking slouch, Jack.
Man, you know what? The more and more I think about it, the less I think that's going to be an issue. Because trust me, there are wrestlers that go in there with bad injuries and rely on the other guy in the ring to help them really sell everything, really rely on them to kind of, you know, prop them up and make them look good. They can make it work for Brock. Trust me, it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, just don't get cut the fuck up. You'll be all right.
Even if he gets cut up, that sells even good. You know, he opens up one of those cuts, bleeds all over the place, makes it look crazy.
It's true.
Have you ever seen Marvin Eastman Vitor Belfort? You know what
Yeah.
elbows and hands get like? He could get split. Look at that fucking
that?
picture
Who-
behind fucking Eddie.
who-
Like, I'm talking about little cuts here, man.
What was that fight this last weekend? There was that fight that bloodied up the entire goddamn canvas.
Shaman Marias against
Yeah.
somebody, right?
Yeah, that was
that was
a
bloody as
nasty fight.
fuck. Dude, I thought for sure they were gonna stop it. The doctor got in there. I'm like, oh, this pussy motherfucker's gonna stop this fight. And he goes in, he's like, no, he's fine. I'm like, yes.
no.
Well,
yes.
it was on the side of his head.
Yeah, it wasn't his eyes.
It wasn't gonna
But,
stop on that.
But look, realistically, man, Brock Lesnar's had some problems with his stomach and shit. A real fight could go a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
I don't know if the WWE lets their WrestleMania investment do this. They might be like, look, my dude, we're there for you. Do whatever you want, but you got to wrestle WrestleMania for us first. After that, but you can't do this 3 weeks before, and then your fucking spleen gets ruptured or so. Like, there's just so many variables that could go. He could blow his back out. Like anything can happen where he flat just can't perform that night. Like something could go wrong. ACL blow or tear. Like, you know what I mean?
Fred, did you ever watch the Andre the Giant documentary?
I did, yeah, for sure.
Do you remember how basically most of his matches he was basically relying on the other guy to make it exciting, and he wasn't really doing much?
Yeah, because he couldn't move that well.
Right. You don't think that they could do that for their biggest face guy, Brock Lesnar?
I don't think we're talking about that. When we're talking like the
I'm talking about a serious injury.
Like a real injury.
I'm saying if you tear your ACL, look, Andre the Giant. Yeah, I did see that documentary. And guess what happened when that big? Okay, I shouldn't call him fat. That's disrespectful. When that big motherfucker's ankle went out, he was out. Like when he was actually injured, he had to get a cast put on and shit. And he had to sit it out. Like if Brock tears his ACL, no, man, there's nothing they can do for him. Like there's no wrestling. Period. Now I'm not saying that's likely. I'm just saying that a real fight with DC shit could go drastically bad. I don't know, and WrestleMania is like that's where the WWE makes probably most of their money for the year, man. That's their big one. So like this. It could get sticky, man. It could get tricky. Like DC might have to try to push that fight back till after WrestleMania.
Right. He ain't gonna do that, dude.
I hope he does, honestly. But if he doesn't, well, here's all right. So real quick on this one before we move on and just like very quickly talk about Denver, Jesse and Fred. But we'll start with Jesse here. What do you prefer, Jones 3 or Brock?
Brock.
What do you want? What do you rather see? You rather see Brock? What about you, Fred?
We only get one.
You only get one. Jones 3 or Brock?
Don't do it. Don't do it, Fred.
Jones 3. Jones 3.
You're rat.
Ultimately, what we want and what I think we're going to get ultimately, the best thing that can happen for all of us is Brock and then Jones at heavyweight for all the marbles.
Yep.
I mean, you couldn't have wrote a better story. Like let DC fight Brock and then let Jones move up to heavyweight. In DC's retirement fight, he'll get the bag with Brock, and then the fight with John at heavyweight is everything, man. No weight cut at DC's natural weight, where he's still undefeated. I still only look at John as having beat DC one time.
Yep.
God damn it, you don't get to cheat. That other one don't count. I mean, all bullshit aside, all hyperbole aside, all my John Jones hate aside, you only beat DC once, and it went to a decision. The second time, you flat got caught cheating. That's null and void, bruh. DC's not yet been beaten at heavyweight. He just knocked out Stipe, the greatest heavyweight, in one round and played with fucking Derek Lewis. I think he'll beat the fuck out of Brock Lesnar. I almost don't see how we don't do this. This is just too good not to be true. You let him get the bag and beat Brock. Let John, if he can beat Alexander.
Champ.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do it for all the marbles. And if DC loses, and John's bitch ass don't test positive,
there you go.
God damn it, I'll ride with John on into the heavyweight, and we'll see what's going on, and it just is what it is.
Damn you, Fred. See, you're the reason why we have bad matchmaking right now. You're the matchmaker right now that is like, oh well, I think Brock Lesnar and DC is gonna be a great fight. Yeah, let's book that. Look, by the way, April 7th, 2019, that's when WrestleMania is. April 7th.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Horrible.
Yeah.
Look, it's already been said I think DC responded to what John Jones said, that he's like, I'll concede to you a rematch or something.
Yeah,
And
fuck
DC
that.
said it. You don't get to concede nothing to me. And it's true. Why give John Jones an opportunity to tarnish yet again DC's legacy? You don't give him that chance. You don't give him that chance. He can't redeem himself by beating you again or you beating him. Oh, well, you didn't get that chance. So I would say for DC to not take that opportunity and just
Listen,
ride off into the sunset, beating Brock Lesnar, making all that money, walking out.
listen. He could do that, and that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But if he fights John and beats him, and then rides off,
Goat.
go.
Go.
And you could look at the second one where John finished him and be like, yeah, but you cheated. And then kind of in a weird way, if John stays in the sport and wins 10 more fights, you'll always look back and be like, yeah, but DC beat you that one time when you was clean, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then if anything, at best, that puts you in DC equal going forward, as like you got to share that GOAT trophy with DC if he gets the W over you at best.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I like about Fred is that he always believes that the MMA gods are always going to shine down upon DC, because the day will come when DC and Jones, if they make that match and then John Jones sleeps him in 1 or 2 rounds, we're all going to look back and go, damn, DC shouldn't have taken this fight, because now his legacy is tarnished.
No, I won't. I mean, look, I all bullshit aside, I wouldn't. All bullshit aside, I would expect. DC says he doesn't want that fight. DC says he don't care about John. He says that he wants the bag with Brock and then he's going to retire.
Right.
I think DC cares too much about his legacy and is too much of a competitor to let that happen. Maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm right, that's why I fuck with DC.
Yeah.
Because he really wants to be the fucking best, and he probably wants that. And like I said, bro, it's not an excuse when you get caught cheating. So, if we're all just keeping it a buck, that first fight that John Jones had with DC, yeah, John won, but it went to a decision, and DC had his moments. In the second fight where he actually finished DC, he cheated. If I'm DC when I go to bed at night, it's like, yo, I'm thinking about that first fight.
I want that rematch.
That first fight, yeah, that second fight didn't happen because you cheated, bro. Like, I love how we just keep glossing over. Like, well, there was Tracer Mounts, and no, maybe you cheated, dog. And then,
man.
are we all sleeping on the fact that John Jones was damn near Anthony Johnson's size?
Right.
Like, I mean, come on. Like, are we all really shocked that dude was fucking on roids? Like, come the fuck on, dog. He was cheating his tits off. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So,
look, I'm just saying, if we have John Jones, the John Jones that we think is real. I know, poor Eddie.
No, fuck that, I go. It's just I know what you're saying. Like,
I'm just saying, I want DC to ride off and be the hero of the UFC.
Exactly.
I don't want to see DC take a stupid risk, and get slept or get beaten by the slimmest of a margin. I don't want that.
As a competitor, if I'm DC as a competitor, if I beat Brock and I retire and I never get that John Jones fight again, that's gonna fuck with me forever. Because because you fight John Jones because you think you can beat him. You don't fight somebody because you think you're gonna lose.
And that's the one. That's the one. That's the one that got me. That's the one that cheated against me. That's the one that always ran his fucking mouth. Like, that's the one, man.
Right now, and even whether or not he fights Brock or not, right now, DC's in the conversation of GOAT. If he beats John Jones, the GOAT. Enough said. Goodbye, Fedor, Kane, all those guys. GOAT.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that would be the general consensus.
Yeah.
Right now, beating John Jones means more than beating anybody in combat sports short of Floyd Mayweather. Like, if you W over John Jones, it's like that shit. Like, that's our fight. Even though the cocksucker flat got caught cheating, he's still our Ali, I guess. Like, that means more than anything. So,
but DC also is looking for money for security for his family.
Okay,
and that's where Brock Lesnar comes into. Right?
Time out. Let's not pretend he's not gonna get fucking paid for the Jones fight.
Yeah, you're right.
He's gonna get mad paid, almost as much as the Brock fight, in my opinion. I think so.
Yeah, maybe even more at that point. Maybe even more at that point. Yeah, I mean, but the Brock fight's a guarantee. Like
that's
Brock,
a shoe-in.
Brock brings the million buys with his
That's
punk
a
ass
shoe-in.
name and shit.
That's
so
a
yeah.
shoe-in. But with the way you can sell Jones DC and the way they will or would sell Jones DC, that he's getting paid.
I just think if we're and let's wrap it up. I know you do got to go, Eddie. I got to go too. I think the perfect ending for DC, and this is just me as a selfish fan. And look, you're right. Like riding off after beating Brock wouldn't be nothing to sneeze at.
Right.
But God damn it, if he could get the bag, beat Brock, and then actually beat his arch nemesis, the fucking bad guy of all bad guys, and the ultimate winner in our sport, John Jones, like you literally could not have written a better ending to anybody's career ever in this sport. That man retires at that point, and that's as good as it gets. In my opinion, if he did that, that would be better than George St. Pierre. That would be like that would be hard to top by anybody's standards.
Yep, I'm with you. All right. Let's real quickly go about just pick our winners for the top 3 fights on the Denver card. So Denver, it goes down this fuck, it didn't give me the stats. Fuck it. It's a Saturday. From Denver, Colorado, FS1. Everything's on FS1. There's no more baseball shit. You shouldn't have to worry about fucking any FS2 prelim shit. Top 3 fights. Give me your picks there, Fred. Pennington versus Duranami.
Let's go, Pennington. Shit.
Pennington. All right. Jesse?
I agree. We can't have other chick taking another win.
All right. I'm taking Rocky as well. All right. The people's main event, someone fucking famously calls it, Don Cerrone, Cowboy against Mike Perry. The fight of the gym, basically, or the fight of the gym and all that drama out there. What are you picking?
I'm going to pick Mike Perry.
Okay.
Just more upside, I think. You know what I'm saying? Younger cat, more upside. Mike Perry.
All right, Jesse.
Cowboy, team Cowboy, son.
All right, I'm taking Cowboy too. Mike Perry might be bullshit, but he said he had a more like a bigger weight cut this time, but I think he's trolling. But I'm still taking Cowboy. That being said, all of Mike Perry's sparring partners at Jackson's have trained with Donald Cerrone for like 10 years probably. So yeah, it's gonna be rough. But I think Cowboy. Yeah, I think Cowboy pulls it off. All right, main event: Korean Zombie against Yair Rodriguez on short notice, mind you. It's supposed to be Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar's out. This is a completely different fight now. Who you picking, Jesse?
Damn. I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I got to go with the Mexican, Yair Rodriguez.
All right, well, I'm going to be that guy, and I'm picking Yair Rodriguez. Fred?
All right, well, I wish we all had a little money on this because as much as I like Yair, they had a snowball's chance. Look, he could win this fight, but I think he has to hurt Korean Zombie early and often.
Fuck him up.
And I think that the Korean Zombie has a high enough fight IQ that he's going to make this a grappling. Look, on the feet, Korean Zombie better be cool.
Yeah.
Because I think he could definitely Yair can fuck him up on the feet. But I think Korean Zombie's smart. He's going to close the distance quick, get a takedown. Once he gets Yair on the mat, Korean Zombie's pretty crafty. You got to remember, did Korean Zombie twister Dustin Poirier?
Yeah, I think so.
Am I making that up? I know he twisted.
No, was it Dustin Poirier?
It might have been Dustin Poirier.
I thought it was Efrain Escudero.
That makes more sense to me.
He submitted Dustin Poirier, and he fucking, goddamn it, pulled a twister on somebody. I don't know if it was the same cat, but goddamn it, he's slick on the ground is the point. So
yeah, twister in MMA twister in jiu-jitsu and other grappling sports, hard. Twister in MMA, holy fuck, what'd you just do?
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think eventually the Zombie gets the takedown, and it's all. I feel bad for Yair kind of because this is not a fun fight to come back to. But I mean, listen, man. Win it all or lose everything. If he somehow knocks the Korean Zombie out, he is back and in a major way. So
yep, big time. All right. Definitely gotta go. I'm already late. So shout out to everyone tuned in. Uncle Hank was here, Raider was here, Patrick, Given Cerny was hanging out, Joy Tremendous, Art Bell came in earlier. Appreciate you, man. The return of Gun Death. That's fucking crazy. It's been a while. Also, he says at the very end, he goes, "Why am I agreeing with Fred tonight? Fuck. I'm going to bed. I've got to be drunk. LOL." Yeah, dude. All right. And all you guys, Raider, everybody that fucks with us, appreciate you guys. Again, keyboardwarriors.com, ripthewarriors.com, get some gear. This is Make America Real again. All right, not great. It's not a MAGA hat. Just chill with people that keep fucking asking me about it. And then spicypros.com gets us some of the good seasoning for your barbecues and all that shit. Fred is at Kirby_MMA. Jesse's at Sport1983. I'm at Elo31. The show's at Keyboard MMA. Y'all the shit. All right. Y'all have a good night, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're on the planet. Good night, Wilshire.